In this video, I talk about fan theories I came up with after watching the Fantastic Four trailer about a million times. Let's go. Hello, YouTube. Axioman here once again. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have watched the trailer for this new Fantastic Four movie dozens of times at this point. So I came up with some fan theories. I'm the fan. Of how I think this is all going to tie into the MCU. Now, I've seen every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and I've seen all the TV shows, all the tie-ins, the Netflix shows, pretty much everything as it ties into this, leading into this film, into this set of characters entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. So these are all fan theories. These are all fun to do. I do them with my friends all the time, but I don't think I've ever made a video since I started the channel of theories that I come up with. I don't know why. So this is going to be the first one that I do a fan theory kind of synopsis, or just going to dive into what I think is going to happen in the film. If I spoiled something, I apologize in advance. I'm not trying to, these are just theories based on all the knowledge I have swirling around in my head, but I do have them. So let's get into it. If you've been following along with everything, the multiverse and time travel and everything that's happening, a lot of people complain about that because it's getting so jumbled. But if you have been following along, great. If you haven't, I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible. So the Earth, or the universe that we currently call the sacred timeline, it's the one where all the films take place with, without the different kind of universes. It's called Earth 616. In Marvel Comics, that is the sacred timeline, if you will. It's Earth 616. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe adopted the same, Earth 616. Now, my theory is that this Fantastic Four in First Steps are from a different Earth. For those that watched Loki, even those that watched Spider-Man No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine, you know that different Earths exist. There's the Fox universe, and I think that these aren't necessarily from the Fox universe because we have those characters. The one with, the Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis as the Thing. So we have those. I think those are part of the Fox universe, even though the X-Men and the Fantastic Four never met. But I think these specific ones are a different Earth, plain and simple. Now, from what I saw in the trailer with Galactus hovering over New York, honestly, I think that the movie's going to end on a downer. What I mean is, I think Galactus is going to devour that version of Earth, that universe's Earth, which is why we have a different Silver Surfer. I've heard a lot of complaints about people saying like, oh, we have a female Silver Surfer. Why did they have to gender swap it? Come on, guys. There's been a lot of heralds of Galactus. If you didn't know that, well, I'm telling you now. She is one of the heralds of Galactus. She is a Silver Surfer. And it makes sense that they picked the female version, or that specific herald, I should say, because that's going to be that Earth's, that universe's version. And once the Fantastic Four make their way into the 616, the cinematic universe that we know, that version, that 616 universe, is going to have Norrin Rad, the quintessential Silver Surfer that we know. That makes a lot of sense why they would choose someone other than Norrin Rad Silver Surfer to be that for this film, because we're never going to see that Galactus and Silver Surfer again after this. They're going to win. Now, my theory even on that goes like this. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, has always been considered the smartest man alive in comics. So I think they're going to do the same thing here. He's smarter than Tony Stark. He's smarter than Bruce Banner, etc. So being the smartest man alive, I believe that in his Earth, in this Earth that we see in the trailer, that's why you see a lot of the tech, a lot of the things. I think it's all related to the Baxter Building and his technology. He's basically the Tony Stark of his Earth, of his universe. And I believe that what's going to happen here is that he's going to build a device. You kind of see it in the trailer. If you pause on that, and I thought I saw this in a video, somebody paused it and captured that he's making some kind of multiverse machine where they can travel. So I think he's going to make a device that is able to not only traverse the multiverse, but also travel to through time. Now, in the real world, in our real world, physicists say they call it space time, right? That's not a crazy concept. That's what they say. Space time, the space time continuum. You know how many times have we heard of that? Back to the Future, etc. Anything dealing with time travel, right? The space time continuum. So kind of, I guess the way I picture it is like think of a plus. So space time, time goes horizontal, and then space or multiverse goes vertical, right? So this would explain why the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, looks like it's in the 60s, but the tech itself is very advanced. Now, we've gotten a little bit of an explanation about that because of Kang the Conqueror and everything to do with that. I won't get into it because it's very detailed, but there's a reason why the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, looks like the 60s. I feel like Kang stole the time travel portion of that from the Fantastic Four tech. The Stark tech, and then you have Reed Richards tech. Okay, so that I'm not gonna get into the details on that because I don't know them. That's just a little piece that I'm kind of playing with in my head. So what's going to happen here in the film is at the end when they lose against Galactus, they have to get out or else they're going to die with the rest of everyone. And Reed is not really going to be done with the device, but they need to get out of Dodge. They need to get the hell out of Dodge. And they're going to use that to escape. And you're just going to see Earth being swallowed by Galactus in that universe. And that's how the film's going to close out. The Fantastic Four will find themselves in New York City that's not their New York City. Not only is it not going to be their New York City, it's also not going to be 1960s NYC. It's going to be the current timeline, the 2024, 2025, 2026, whatever year the current timeline in the MCU is. And the reason being is that he wasn't done with his device, so they just had to get out. They just punched it, and and they went where they went. So they traveled not only through space, through the multiverse, but also through time. So that's why they fast forwarded in time and got to the current timeline. That's my theory of how they're going to enter into the 616 universe. And now we have the Fantastic Four looking around in awe at where are we? This is New York. We recognize it, but this is not our New York. And this isn't even our timeline. Like they can see a newspaper or they could see obviously there's hardly any newspapers left, but they could see everything that they're seeing and something shows a date. So they not only jump through multiverses, but they also jump through time. And that's where you're going to get what I am curious about. Who is going to be the first hero that they meet? Now, it didn't take me long to come up with this one. I said, well, the obvious is Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange can travel the multiverse, but he uses magic. So I have a feeling that at the end of the film, he's going to encounter them or confront them even and say, how did you get here without using magic? And then that's when the film ends, but it leads to speculation that Reed Richards is now going to get together with Doctor Strange and show him how he did it, and that's how the construction of the Baxter Building, et cetera, will happen moving forward past this film. Now, something I hope that really happens. This is an end credit scene wish. This would be such a fan shout out, fan service. I would lose my mind if this happened. I'm picturing the Fantastic Four now kind of zooped into the 616 and they're looking around. They're just shocked. They're amazed by what they're seeing because it's their New York City, but not their New York City. And you see a web shootout, web sling, and Spider-Man sticks to the wall and just kind of stares at them like, can I help you? And they're just staring at him like, what? Now, why I wish this would happen is not just to include Spider-Man in a Fantastic Four movie. No. Although that's awesome. But Amazing Spider-Man #1, the cover to the Amazing Spider-Man #1 comic book that debuted in 1963. Spider-Man did not debut in that comic. He was part of Amazing Fantasy 15, but his very first issue of his very first solo run, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is still a current run, has the Fantastic Four on the cover. And it has Spider-Man kind of splayed out. They kind of have him trapped in some tube. And so it'd be an homage. Now, we know that in Deadpool and Wolverine, they did a lot of that. They did homages to famous Wolverine comic covers. So wouldn't it be cool if at the end of this film, they did an homage to Amazing Spider-Man #1? Now in his new suit, Doctor Strange made sure that everyone forgot who he was. He's the quintessential classic Spider-Man, and he runs into the Fantastic Four, showcasing or at least paying homage to that Amazing Spider-Man #1 cover. How cool would that be? I would lose it. I would faint just from sheer exhilaration. Let me do that again. That would be so dope. I swear, I would lose it. But at this point, I don't think it's a coincidence, guys, that the day before the Fantastic Four trailer drops, the rumorville comes out that Jonathan Majors is now in talks back with Marvel to reprise his role as Kang the Conqueror. Don't think that was an accident. Don't think that that leak was just by accident. Now, whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But what a coincidence! The day before, and now we're talking about '60s theme, '60s retro, space age look. And then the TVA looks just like that, and Kang the Conqueror is tied in with all the TVA stuff. So we have a lot of that that's going on, and this would explain how Reed Richards knows that Galactus is coming too. Like it's almost like he can explain in some way, what can happen will happen. It happened on my Earth. It will happen on this Earth. It's an inevitability. So he's trying to explain to the hero. It's kind of like the way Hulk or Bruce Banner, when he crash lands on Earth after Heimdall, transfers it back to Earth, and he's all like, he's coming, and then it just cuts to the title, right? Avengers, so something similar to that. Reed Richards is telling them Galactus is coming. We almost beat him on our planet, but we lost. I know how to beat him, and then that launches that storyline into the next. I don't know what will happen after that. Again, this is all just theory. I would love to see that Spider-Man end credit scene. I think this is the way they're going to tie in the Fantastic Four into the Earth 616 sacred timeline, the MCU that we know and love. That's just a theory. Again, theory, theory, theory. I just wanted to say it a few more times. But that's my take on that. Let me know in the comments below what your take on it, or maybe it doesn't have to be an entire take. Let me know whether you think some of these ideas are good. Maybe you liked one out of all of them, or maybe you like none of them. Let me know in the comment section. As always, collect what you love what you collect. I'll see you guys in the next one.